everyone. Welcome to Om Shanti Healing's podcast, The Spiritual Connection. It's been a beat since I've recorded. I wanted to talk about in this episode the coming new year. Now, today it is the 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And with that comes resolution, right? And all these profound promises we give to ourselves that usually by mid-February fall off the radar. So I want to talk today just about proactively aligning momentum into the new year, like how to take this proactive action toward the next goal with a lot of faith, discipline, and intentionality. Right. So a lot of us that plan for the new year, we say we're going to do things, but then there's no intention around it. There's no momentum around it. And it just very easily just falls off like something that is disregarded pretty easily. So I wanted to just talk about the momentum behind making promises to yourself and what it means to create a power list. Now, a power list is intentions around things you want to do, making promises to yourself and then keeping them. Okay, so we're going to do just a little bit of step by step. I want to talk about daily power lists, weekly and quarterly power lists. And for those of us that are self-employed, entrepreneur, kind of energy, and we own our own businesses, this is really important and hopefully very helpful for those of you that do have your own business that really want to make an impact come the new year. So I want you to understand that just before anything changes externally in your world, that something needs to shift big time internally first. So I want to take a deep breath. Relax into this moment, take from it what you want, and hopefully use some tools that I share to the best of your ability to really push forward in the new year. This episode isn't about creating any hype. It's not about forcing any outcomes. It's not about grinding yourself into burnout, which could be easily done as an entrepreneur, right? Or somebody that wants to try something new. This is about creating alignment and then putting momentum behind it to keep that alignment focused and in tune with what your long-term goals could be. It's about understanding that your goals are not very random and scattered. Your goals are very focused, right? The desires are not accidental for the goals that you have. And the pull you feel towards more is not your ego taking over. It's information downloads coming through, right? You're not given a vision without any responsibility behind it. There's no goals set without proactiveness and tuning into that goal and moving forward towards it all the time, right? You're not given potential without the participation piece included. It's required. Otherwise, it won't happen. You weren't meant to wait your way into the next level. Especially as an entrepreneur, you have to go after everything that you get and work hard for it. This episode is based around faith that you are capable and then putting motion behind it. Okay, so faith is without action. When you have faith and you don't put action behind it, it stays in a very theoretical place, right? Action without alignment just seems heavy. And that's when you can kind of just spin out and feel like you're literally in circles and there's no focus. So today we're going to kind of merge both those ideas. And by the end of this episode, I'm hoping that you will have a clear understanding of why you feel stuck when you do feel stuck, a practical structure for daily, weekly, and quarterly action steps to take, and a grounded spiritual framework that makes consistency sustainable and enjoyable. This is not about becoming somebody else, following somebody else. It's about becoming congruent with what you really want, where you want to go, and then how to get there step by step. Okay, so let's begin. So, why do most people feel stuck? Okay, most people aren't lazy, right? They're just incapable of creating a plan. Okay, they aren't incapable in general, they just struggle with the structure around what to do next, the steps to take. That's not a sign that you're broken in any way. It's just a matter of being misaligned, right? You wake up reacting, stressed out, anxiety. There's no creation in that. Okay. You live inside of urgency and desperation instead of intention. This is how we get really lost. You can wait for clarity to come magically. You can try to manifest or meditate yourself into clarity. But if you do that instead of allowing clarity to emerge through movement, you're going to remain in the same place. Stagnation is rarely about a lack of effort. It's usually about a lack of direction and a lack of trust in yourself and respect in yourself. So here's the truth around all that. Okay? When you disconnect from your purpose, action feels heavy, doesn't it? It weighs you down, it tires you out. When you're disconnected from the faith you have in yourself, decisions feel scary, don't they? Everything is just a little bit intimidating. When you're disconnected from a structure behind your intention, life feels very chaotic. Anxiety levels go up. Exhaustion occurs faster. Proactive people are not more confident. They're more committed. And the structure and the commitment and the plan behind it inevitably leads to more confidence because you're getting things done. They understand that movement creates clarity, right? They say, I don't know if you've ever heard about like tools for anxiety. If you're feeling anxious and you're in a fight, flight, or freeze response, most people in business and most people in general, I think, have more of a freeze response when there's not clarity. And that creates a sense of stagnation and exhaustion. Structure around your plan creates a sense of safety. Structure gives you a way to move from one step to the next, create movement in your plan, and that decreases anxiety. And then being consistent. Be consistent with what you do. Create that power list and do those things every single day, non-negotiable. Make sure you add it to part of your routine to get up and go and do these things proactively towards your business or towards a goal you have. Consistency creates that trust in yourself because you're keeping promises to you, with the general life stuff and with work stuff, right? Stop waiting for motivation to lead you, right? Create the motivation to lead you. So proactivity is both discipline and devotion. Now that devotion is something I really want you to have stand out a little bit louder in your mind as an act of love. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here. So being proactive does not mean doing more necessarily. It means doing what matters first. Categorizing, structuring your plan. So there's moments of elation and reaching goals and joy and celebration. Discipline around that path. It means asking better questions around which way do I go? It does not mean what do I feel like doing today, right? And we'll get into that list in a moment. But what does the future version of you look like, right? And the vision placed in your heart that you need to think about today. That question is both practical and spiritual, right? Like, what does the future version of me look like? And the vision placed in my heart that needs me to be a certain way today. What does that look like for you? It's a practical question and an energetic question. Proactive living is cooperation with self, with your values, with your intuition, with the timing of your life in the right ways. Faith is not passive. Ask anybody that has faith or that is spiritually connected. It's moving. It creates action. It requires action. Spirituality is not avoiding, and surrender is not sitting still forever. No movement means no progress. You are a co-creator, and co-creation requires participation every single day, all day long, no matter what that looks like for depending on the goal that you have, right? When discipline is aligned, it becomes devotional. It becomes an act of love. When structure is intentional, it becomes supportive for you instead of an obligation. When action is purposeful, it becomes very powerful. It gives you energy. This is where the power list comes in that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to give you a few tips to help you with developing that power list and what that might look like for you in your individual situation and what your goals may be. Okay. Well, let's talk about the daily power list first. Aligned action every single day. Okay. Your day is where momentum is either built or broken. The second you open your eyes every morning, the goal of the day is not perfection, right? It's to show integrity. It's to keep your promises. Keeping small promises to yourself builds trust in yourself, and it builds self-respect. Self-trust is a foundational piece to create confidence, faith, and progress in whatever you want to move towards. Your daily power list should never exceed 5 items because you don't want to overwhelm yourself. I would start with 2 or 3, work that for a while, make sure you can commit, create it part of your routine, get into a rhythm, and then maybe add a few more. But don't do over 5 because that's going to take too much time. And you're most likely to disconnect and not commit anymore if it's too many things. Okay. So let's talk about what that power list might look like. And this is kind of leaning into the entrepreneur as well. So you can kind of take with it what you want if you're not an entrepreneur, or maybe if you have a friend that is, send it to them. Send this podcast to them. I bet it'll help. Okay. So number 1 goal-driven, purposeful action. Every day, do one thing that directly moves your main goal forward. Not planning, not preparing endlessly, not actual execution, okay? Not too much. 1 call, 1 workout, 1 page, 1 post, 1 step. That's it. Small actions offered consistently compound faster than intense effort done occasionally. That's where you get burnout pretty quickly. So think about it. I'll repeat it again. 1 call, 1 workout, 1 page written, 1 post put up on social media, 1 step of some sort taken. Number 2, inner alignment practice. This is your grounding point. Your second task on your power list: prayer, meditation, journaling, silence, scripture, breathing. Pick whatever works for you. There's so much information that can come through in a moment of silence. And if you can give yourself 10 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever you have the capacity to do to just sit in silence and be, huge. We don't want to force answers on any of this stuff. We're here to listen, right? The internal dialogue that we have in our minds that sabotage us on a daily basis and pull us backwards from where we want to be is something that you really need to look at on a daily basis and work through getting behind you. If it's in front of you, push through it, figure it out, Look at your stuff, work through it, get it behind you, because you're not going to move forward in any way if you're stuck in the past. Okay, number 3, physical movement. Your body carries your energy, doesn't it? And energy determines any sort of output that you create, whether it's negative or positive. Moving intentionally, go for walks, train your body to get stronger in some way. Do lots of stretching. Go to yoga, go to a meditation class, commit to an activity outside the home, or maybe in the home, whatever feels better, whatever you think you can commit to. A stagnant body creates a stagnant life. Think about that. Like if you sit all day at work, what are you going to do when you come home? You're going to sit, right? Usually for most people. So think about what your body's doing, how you're moving your body, what kind of energy is flowing through your body, and adapt accordingly to create more energy flow, more connection, more awareness to your vibration. Number 4, distraction and boundary awareness. Every day, reduce one thing that drains your energy. There's always something or someone in your life that is creating an energy suck for you. Do you have any energy vampires in your life or people that you work with that just drain you? Be aware of that, and adapt accordingly. Get off your phone, less scrolling on social media. That drains your energy, especially right before bed. Less reactivity in the things that happen in your day that might irritate you or upset you. Be less reactionary and less noise. And that comes back to that silence piece, right? I've been told in my finance business, because I'm in sales and finance, I help people with retirement and things. And it's not an easy career to be in, but I love it and it's growing quickly. And my coaches have told me stay between 4 and 7 on your energy output and your expectation. 1 being super overly excited and expecting everything to lead to a sale, and 10 being just heavily bombarded with anxiety and panic and self-sabotaging thoughts and thinking you're not going to get the sale at all. I suggest through his advice, which is magic, stay between 4 and 7 with everything you do to help sustain your energy. And then if you get the sale, you celebrate. And if you don't, it's not that much of an energy suck and you move on to the next one. It was a profound advice that has been so helpful for me. So just think on that if you are in your own business and if you are in sales around that. Okay, so number 5 is our daily win and gratitude review. The end of the day, by acknowledging what you did, not what you didn't do. That is huge, because at the end of the day, gratitude trains your nervous system to expect support, right? Evidence builds belief. So stay in a space of positivity. So maybe you didn't get the sale. Maybe you got a couple no's. Each experience is a lesson. Each interaction with that client or potential client is practice, right? Every engagement's practice. Every engagement's a lesson. It might not always lead to the sale, but every experience is connection with somebody that might know somebody that you could help. So think of every experience as practice, 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 and gratitude around just being able to hear that person's story and get to know them better. Because you never know down the road if they might need your help later, right? So the weekly power list is next, and we're going to talk about direction and momentum behind that. Okay? Weeks either drift together or they compound. When you're thinking about a month of time, right? The beginning of the month from the 1st to the 30th, those weeks can compound momentum, or each week could drift into the cosmos of nothingness. right? So proactive people don't let weeks happen, right? They design them. And this is where the powerless comes in, making a plan for your week. What is that going to look like from Monday through Friday? Weekly alignment creates a lot of clarity in your plan, and clarity helps to preserve your energy. Create a weekly plan. What is it going to look like? Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. What are your goals in those days in that 5-day week? So let's talk about the weekly power list and planning ritual behind it. Okay, what are the top 3 priorities this week for you? What actually moves the needle for you? Schedule them first. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. Make sure the calendar is full. Pick your days, book it. Book with the client, book with your appointment, whatever it is. Get it down on your calendar. Lock it in. Okay. Number 2 is one courageous or faith-stretching action, something uncomfortable. This is huge for entrepreneurs. We have to get very comfortable with being uncomfortable and make the uncomfortable comfortable and find something new that makes us uncomfortable and work at it till it's comfortable. And that's business ownership for a lot of us. We thrive on the anxiety of what's next, what's going to create me discomfort and challenge me. And let's go right after that. So that could be a conversation with somebody. That could be a decision to do some public speaking and get up on a stage and talk about things or whatever that is you want to do around your business. That is maybe an ask of somebody that's at a higher level than you for some help and some support, whatever that looks like for you. The courage around taking action towards something that's going to stretch you, right? And then having faith that it's going to be okay and you're going to learn something awesome from it. Growth requires that. Growth requires consent in yourself to reach out towards that uncomfortableness and go after it. Okay. The next one is skill or capacity development. Sharpen a skill that you have. Connect to your goal for the week and learn. Create a pathway to honor that lesson. Every week, learn a new lesson, no matter how big or how small it is. Expand your mind and education towards a new lesson. Next one is environmental reset. Check your desk, check your home, your space, clean it up. Create a space that feels uncluttered and organized so you know where everything is when you need it. Reset the surroundings to flow better for you with those intentions you're setting weekly and daily. Your environment's either going to support your alignment, right, with organization, or it's going to resist it with chaos and clutter. And think about the energy around a clean, organized space compared to clutter everywhere and how it makes you feel. Just kind of check around in your space, do some cleaning up if you need to. And then at the end of the week, we're going to do some reflecting. Come Friday evening, check in with yourself. What flowed? Where did you have resistance? What needs to be adjusted for the following Monday? Check in lovingly with compassion as opportunity to learn and grow and make subtle adjustments to do better the following week. Okay, reflection is really important because it turns our effort into more wisdom and more congruency for the future in what you really want. The quarterly power list is what we're going to talk about next. Vision with groundedness and taking action for the first quarter of the year. 3 months is a long enough time to see massive change. And it's short enough time to stay really tuned in and focused on what that quarterly goal could look like. Quarterly alignment helps because it's a longer amount of time, and it helps to prevent burnout or an overreaction because you have, 90 days to get it done. That's a decent amount of time. So let's talk about the quarterly power list. One primary soul aligned goal for the quarter, just one, because it's going to be a bigger one than your daily or your weekly, right? So you want to just have one goal, not 5, not 10, one goal for the first quarter. What's that going to look like? Does this goal expand me? Does this goal drain me? Check in. We want to always set goals that are going to help us to grow, right? That are going to give us energy, drive us forward to the second quarter, something to look forward to at the end of it, right? So check in, make sure your goals are going to fill you up with energy and excite you about something. Focus on that. Beats the ambition of chaotic flailing towards a goal every single time. One thing, okay? Number 2, 3 measurable outcomes. This is a cool one. Track what matters. Numbers clarify truth. They are neutral guides, not judgments. This is just a way to keep track of what you're doing. If it is number related, of course, it all just depends on what your goals are. For me, my goals are very number related in my finance business. And I have goals daily, weekly, quarterly that I strive to meet. But the important thing is to track each little step forward that gets you closer to that quarterly goal so you can reflect on those wins and celebrate them. Numbers clarify a lot as you watch your numbers grow. 3, identify alignment. Who must you become to sustain this goal? That could be a very tough question. Because in order to grow, you have to get uncomfortable. In order to grow, you have to get out of your own way. In order to grow, you have to do hard things that might give you anxiety and make you feel nervous. So what? Do them anyways. Once you know that you do them, you book it, you make it happen, you face that fear, you do it. All of a sudden, it's not as scary as it once was, right? You must kind of be in alignment with where you want to be all the time, even if it's in the back of your mind. Okay? Becoming always precedes receiving. Growth is an evolution. You don't get to the end from the beginning. You have to meet the middle over time and climb over all the bumps, walk through all the shadows. Get to the other side with the effort that you can celebrate and be proud of yourself for later. Number 4 is to put systems in place over willpower. Think about the structure stuff we were talking about before, right? Creating a routine that makes success easier. Create reachable goals so you can celebrate along the way. Grace over force. We are only human. It's good to flow with the current instead of against it. Create structure and get yourself out of the chaos that drains your energy and keeps you spinning. Okay, number 5, the quarterly reset and recommitment. Honor your progress with that grace and that flow energy. Release what didn't work. Take the lessons that you got from those moments that didn't work, adapt accordingly for the future. Recommit to those lessons to adapt, and don't hold guilt or shame inside you at all, because that will take you down fast, right? Now we're going to talk about when motivation fades and faith feels quiet and you're really in a state of, I don't like the word struggle, but discontent. Maybe you're tired, you're talking yourself out of stuff, You get to that place where you're like, I don't know about this, if this is the right thing or not. There will be seasons when motivation disappears, when you're just tired and you do have some burnout. It's going to happen. We're human, and it could be very seasonal too for a lot of us. That doesn't mean that you're off path at all. Often a moment of break and quiet and integration is really helpful. And oftentimes, as an entrepreneur, those moments where we want to give up come right before a huge breakthrough. So just keep that in mind, that your energy's testing you and preparing you for something better coming real soon. You know, in these seasons where we're feeling kind of fatigued and worn down, I want you to back up a little bit. Come back to your basics, right? Keep your commitments small. Maybe you're pushing too hard. Maybe you're adding too much onto your plate and you're tired and the excitement is turning into obligation. You know, we want to step back from that because that will lead to burnout, and we don't want you to give up on anything that you're reaching for that you've so far worked really hard towards, right? Show up gently with yourself, but consistency, keep that going. Just maybe shorten your power list, make it more doable, you know, but don't stop. Just make it a little simpler for yourself for a while until you feel like you can ramp up again, right? Never miss out on opportunities twice. Like if you lose that client, that opportunity, and they say no, you know, give them a moment, reach out to them later on, you know. A one-off day is human, right? If you're self-employed, you can take a day off anytime you want, you know, but don't take too many in a row because you are self-employed. If you take 2 days off in a weekend, it starts to, that's fine. But, you know, and then if you go into Monday, Tuesday, it's starting to create a pattern of not being productive. And it's all too easy to keep that going, right? Of not being productive. Momentum is forgiving if you bounce back quickly, right? You are not too late. You are not behind. You are becoming. We are in evolution. I think people tend to really be really hard on themselves and expect to know what the end outcome is before they even begin. I am guilty of that for sure. And you have to really check yourself and back up and enjoy the ride along the way. And that feels less overwhelming than contemplating the end, huge, big, massive result that you want, but then having no structure path to get there. It could really shut you down fast. So in closing, let's talk about moving forward in trust and in action for what you want those goals to be. Your next level is not hidden. It's not locked, and it's not waiting for perfection in any way, because we are only human. It's waiting for you to participate. That's it. Creating that plan, building some structure around it, and then actively moving towards it. Every time you choose action over avoidance, alignment over a sense of urgency, and consistency over intense anxiety, you send a signal to your nervous system. You send a signal out to the universe, and life responds to you. So plan your days, honor your weeks, focus on your quarters in the future. Sit in prayer and meditation and take action. Make sure you trust in yourself and build something beautiful at your own pace. Always listen to what that internal dialogue is telling you, and always move in a direction that's going to align with your greater purpose. You already know what the next step is inside deeply. So take it with love, honor, respect for yourself. That's it for today. Share this with any friends or family you have that are entrepreneurs. I really hope it helps them. Have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable new year. And we'll be back with you soon. Take care. Bye bye.